To come out and talk about his projects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just pies.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot more
There's
to
more
it.
to it, yeah.
More good stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll get back here eventually.
Yeah.
I left mine probably in the car. I figured I'm gonna go out and drive when I go home. But we've had the thunder today.
Yes.
More than we did the rain.
Yeah. I went to California and back today, and I was expecting bad weather. No lick of it.
When did you leave?
I left at 2:30 this
I
morning.
gotta say.
I pulled out of the yard at 2:30.
Hey, Vice Mayor,
Sure.
if you have a quick five after
So
our
where did we
meeting
go?
tonight,
How far?
Brad,
did we go?
Just
I'd like
the
to buttonhole you
Oh,
before
just
you
the
leave.
too bad.
I just wanted to check.
That's as
It's not
far as I
urgent,
can
but it was good news.
Why? What do you want?
For FCC.
Couldn't do it. I'm gonna say no, no, no. No, 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 I don't love you no more. I'm tired of waking up on the floor.
Right,
If you open it,
yes.
I don't have the distance here.
Not yet.
Decorative rock. Yes, goes in the landscape yard there, and they sell it.
Robert, can I tell you that the guy who made this?
Hello, how are you?
And
This is one.
kind of an award for
So when they have to freight it
I like
here
it.
to there.
You can't use it anymore.
You got it, bye.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Got a backup gavel.
Back up.
Oh,
There he is.
I
Yeah, he
gave
is.
it away, but you should have seen it.
What's that?
Well, a friend of mine, his son's a judge,
No, that must be yours.
and I made
Unless
a
you got
pen
some over
that's a
there.
gavel. For him.
How cool.
How are you?
I'll tell you what, that little pin you made me got some oohs and ahs. That's a neat little action, a bolt action pin.
Yeah.
And it looks like an overgrown '06 cartridge.
Pretty California.
Yeah, but what's different about it? You know, on a bolt action, you rotate the bolt forward and down, and on this one, you lift up, forward and up to lock it in. Yeah.
So not something you want to have with your carry.
No carry-ons, no.
Sorry, I took 6 of them to California.
Okay, cool, thank you.
And nobody said nothing.
But you make these. Okay.
Right.
I charge 30 bucks.
Okay, excellent. That is good to
Cafe
have.
80 Maker, he charges 40 bucks for it.
Okay.
He says, they're worth it, you ought to get the money. He says, fine.
We'll
At
talk when we get
$30,
in.
I make a couple bucks. But-
Now, is there some machine work on them?
Good.
Oh, all the wood.
Okay.
I turned the lathe
Which one?
and in the middle on his was ironwood. Greg Brown's got one tonight. My wife wanted me to make him one. He's got black walnut. I made Jamie one. Hers is Bethlehem olive tree wood. I got all kind of wood. Purple Heart is a popular wood. It's a real dark purple mahogany. The one I just made for my friend for the gavel, it's black and white ebony. And when you judge, everything's black and
wet
white,
today,
right?
didn't you?
There is no gray.
That's good. That's a good point.
Good.
So I just go to my garage, have fun.
You were south.
When you retire, you can do these things.
Yes.
They killed them.
One of my toy makers,
Greg
Fred
Brown
Brown,
had-
and stuff. But I gotta get back to making toys.
It's like snow.
But, yeah, I made my daughter one, and let her always and I should have kept what I was making out of. Because just the material, I have to turn, it cost me 50
I was
bucks.
sitting in my living room and it, no rain. It was raining over here and then no rain
Took
over
me
here. I
an
told my
extra
wife,
piece
"It's
because I
raining."
messed up
Oh,
on
you
purpose.
said, you're crazy as hell. I'm going,
But hers is black,
We know that. We know that.
Yeah.
and it's called True Stone. It's not wood, it's a stone that's on fire. And I ended up publishing it with 14,000 grit sandpaper. And you can shave it. So I made her book. So I just told my wife I need to be more careful when I, instead of ordering where I look to see what it costs.
Yeah.
Because I could never sell that pen for $100 to someone. But yeah, it's been fun. I made my son-in-law. I took a picture of his. Just the first one I did. Wow, that's black shaving. That's the black and white ebony.
Okay.
But he still uses a brush in the soap. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yes, it is.
So it's just it's a catalog and all kinds of stuff. I'm making Liz she sews, seam ripper, and a stylist. So
We'll hold off. We'll do that
Days when I
next
see the
time.
door open, they're out of stock.
come on.
Yeah.
Good evening, dear. How are you?
Till spring.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 hours.
Season, and we won the tournament. Hello. What do you have that for? It's not going to rain when I leave here.
Very good, thanks.
Can you hear us?
You did.
I can hear you
We're
fine.
passing in the
All
dark.
right, woohoo!
Pretty sharp.
And then to minimize,
Oh, we got Susan.
Yep.
Hi,
somebody
Susan.
move the camera.
Good.
Camera up. Okay, we got to
She
readjust the
needs,
camera.
she needs that help.
We're having fun down this end of the world.
Yeah, that's good.
Very good.
A little more to the
How
left.
much you can
Hey.
do.
A little more to the left, she said.
No,
Are we going
no,
all
the
the
other
way?
left.
He's the most.
The other left.
All right.
Can't see
Yeah,
forward.
we do too. Yeah, we can use the help.
But how, why are we in the, I think the camera
say
needs to be
you finish
further
up your-
up. Because
Okay.
now it's getting us.
Monday.
Okay.
Somebody move the podium.
It was,
Where was it?
it's impressive.
Okay.
I find it. We don't, I would like to get something out of here.
There was one, Lillian Morales. She was the only one so far.
Okay, thank you.
If we get any more, we'll let you know when we get in there.
Do you have everybody there?
There could have been, all my guys next
Or-
week,
It doesn't seem as easy to see.
Wait, who's
they're
missing?
leaving this weekend.
Can we see Robert
They
and,
think it's Monday, Tuesday.
No.
For the 70s.
I can see Robert now.
okay,
I can see everybody.
okay,
Okay.
all right.
I didn't lose nothing to Vegas.
No. Say, I've got some family there.
That was easy.
No,
If it wasn't for that, I'd have recently.
We're close. Pull the chalks. All you gotta do is light the fire.
Light the fires. All right. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please rise and remove your hats for the invocation. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together to do the town's business. We would ask that you would give us wisdom in conducting that business. Thank you for placing us in these positions of stewardship. Father, please watch over our servicemen and women, our first responders, those who place themselves in harm's way to protect the people of this great country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. May we have the roll call?
Certainly. Good evening, y'all. Councilmember Turner.
I'm here.
Good. Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Vice Mayor Croft.
Here.
And Mayor Marley.
Here. Introductions, presentations, and proclamations, we have none. Call to the public. Call to the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council concerning a subject that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. Total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. Do we have anyone to speak to call to the public? Yes, sir. Please step forward. Remember that you have 3 minutes. Please state your name.
My name is Norm Freeman, owner of Freeman Farms, a citizen and resident of the town of Chino Valley. I'm here tonight because we wanted to build a flushing toilet where there was already a flushing toilet. So like any businessman, the first question I had was, what do I need to do? What are the requirements? Recently, I've heard people say, well, he just doesn't want to follow the rules or he wants special treatment. No, I don't know what the rules are. I want to know what the rules are before I apply for a building permit. I've applied for building permits in this town before, sometimes with no issues. Other times I've gone through processes where a year later, the town surprises you with something profound like signing over land that they didn't warn you about when you began the process. I came before you in January. Mr. Mayor, you recently put a YouTube video up where you talk about reaching out to me in February and March. I was here, January 13th. I read a letter into the record. It was about 10 minutes long. At the end of that, I asked for you to put on a future agenda item so that not only myself, this wasn't just about Norm Freeman, so that Norm Freeman could bring in local businesses and other agricultural interests to fix the code. Watch the video. It's exactly what I did. That was January 13th. I came before you a week later. January 22nd, I stood here and I said, okay, if you're not going to do that, how about you adopt a policy statement? A policy statement that tells staff that if they have discretion to use, how about using it in favor, if they can, of a business, whether it's commercial or agricultural. It was clear.
Excuse me for a second, Mr. Freeman. Your 3 minutes are up. I'm going to give you 3 more, but please be aware of that, okay?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You bet. All right.
So on January 22nd, I suggested that if you couldn't act and we were under time pressure, that you simply adopt a policy statement. After all, that's your function. For those of you that are wanting to serve on this council, it's not your job to micromanage staff. It's your job to set policy for staff to follow.
Excuse me, you have to
No,
address us.
just
You
talking
bet,
about
you
your
bet,
duties
you
that
bet,
didn't happen last January.
You bet.
Okay? So January 22nd, I said, do a policy statement. That's your job. Staff had told me it was up to their discretion. This whole issue was up to staff discretion. I'm here a year after I wrote my letter, and I still, to this day, have not received an answer as to where in code it says I have to pave my parking lot to pull a building permit on agricultural property. Now, I'll cut it at this point. I'm going to summarize. 3 times in January, I asked for your help. January 13th, January 22nd, and then after the meeting on January 22nd, we sent an email to every one of you, not you, Mr. Mendoza, you weren't here, but to all the sitting council members and to you, Mr. Mayor, and we said, here's what we can do. We asked for a response. Not one of you responded. 3 requests in January. So it's self-serving to talk about what happened in February and March. It's self-serving to make it sound like I didn't want to work with people. Look at your building permit, folks. Look at it. You have a duty to look at it. I can't answer the first question. The first question is, what type of permit is it? Residential or commercial? What happened to agriculture in this town? Agriculture used to exist. It's not even on this.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any others for call to the public? Yes, sir. The fella in the striped shirt. Okay, go ahead.
There's 3 of us on the same issue.
Yes, sir.
All right, I believe you have pictures of Cascio Boulevard issue.
Into the microphone, sir, please.
I believe you have pictures of the Cascio Boulevard issue on the fencing. Oh, name's James Eddy. I live in 770 Picasso Boulevard.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. They're starting to put up a fence up there, and as you can see, it puts us in a tight squeeze here. We have 3 vehicles parked between those 2 pine trees, and it's like, basically, we got to have to come out straight out before we can even turn to get out of there. And because their easement's like so far in towards our front of our property, like basically where the trunks of the trees are, we didn't know that when we bought the property. So they're 25 feet, measure out right, but it's like right on the edge of this little narrow road that we have. And there's no room for us, let alone our neighbors, which there's other pictures that who have RVs. And there's a picture in there that, okay, this is my neighbor on to the right to me. He has that RV there. There's another better picture of it right there. Now, if you're able to zoom in on that, you'll notice there's the brick wall, little short fence on the other side between him and the neighbor there that actually works for the fire department. There is no way for him to get his RV in or out once that fence goes up. Now, we have complained about there's going to be a problem because there's a bunch of elderly people. The one with the RV right there couldn't make it tonight because he's having medical issues tonight. There was pictures taken just 2 days ago on the 20th of medical emergency vehicles on our road. Right there. The ambulance could not get around the fire truck. They're having to back the ambulance back through the fence, through the poles, to be able to get the ambulance out of there. There is basically 2 large trucks try to pass each other. One of them has to find a way to pull over. We now no longer, if that fence stays where it's at, we have no longer any room for any company to come over and park. You know, we can't have any company anymore. We're just getting totally cut off. All we're asking for is basically 10 feet, but they're saying they're asking for another 25 feet. I say, hey, we can all be happy with 10 feet. We just need a little room to breathe.
Yes, sir.
And it's mostly, we were telling them this before this even happened. We were talking about this last week when we first started going down and making our complaints. All of us on this street have made complaints except for, 2 of them couldn't get down because they're having medical issues, as you can see. And one of them couldn't get off work in time to get down to Public Works.
Okay.
But the rest of us are here, speaking for the rest of the street. And when they first came in with the backhoe, started clearing the area for the fence, I talked to the guy running the backhoe, and he said he conversed with the owner, and the owner said that he was worried about the concerns of the owners. Well, that just went in one ear, out the other. We never heard back, and all of a sudden they started putting the fence up, and here we are.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
And
thank
that's Mr. Eddy?
Yes.
Okay. Town manager, if you would, please look into this. Thank you. Any others for call to the public? If it's on the same subject, we've got to shut it off. Our public information list. Yes, sir. Hang on for a second. Our rules for our public information on the meetings, cumulative or redundant speeches may be terminated by the chairperson. If it's dealing with the same thing, then please, as our town manager investigates into it, we'll hopefully have time for input from all the neighbors. But if it's on the same subject, we need to keep moving forward, sir. All right. Any other subjects? Yes, sir.
I'm a little nervous here, so I wrote down what I'm going to read here. So, Mayor and Town Council, my name is Chad Nanke, and I live in Quail Ridge subdivision. Although I live just outside the city limits, I'm happy to call Chino Valley my home. It has recently come to my attention and the attention of others that there's an approximate 53-acre parcel of land located at East Road 4th South that is in the beginning process of obtaining a development agreement with the town for a mixed use that includes commercial, multifamily, and residential, and acreage to grow medical or medicinal marijuana. It's about 10 acres, I think. I'm very concerned with the current town code and zoning ordinances that the growing of marijuana within Chino Valley could become commonplace. To start out, let me just say this. I am also aware that there have been entities who have bought land in the Chino Valley area with the intent of growing marijuana who were not successful in this process. But with the push to legalize recreational marijuana in the state of Arizona by ballot in November of 2016, it's important for the residents and the town government of Chino Valley to get ahead of what could be a real train wreck when it comes to the growing of marijuana in our community. Let me continue by saying I'm not for medical marijuana being grown in the town limits of Chino Valley at all. Where does it start and stop? We open the doors to this, and it could open the floodgates in the future, and I do not think many of the citizens in and around Chino Valley want that. I understand that to grow marijuana in our community, it has to be grown indoors or in a greenhouse with a fence around it, but this really isn't the point. I'm afraid with Chino Valley's rule setting, it could become seen as an easy target for medical marijuana growers now and commercial recreational growers in the future if and when the law ever passes. Do the citizens of Chino Valley have any say whether medical marijuana is grown in our community? I know that state law dictates the growing of marijuana in Arizona, but I also know that town codes can be tightened now before it's too late to change anything. It is my understanding in order for medical marijuana to be grown in Chino Valley, town limits, a commercial zoning or an agricultural 5-acre minimum zoning with a conditional use permit is required to grow marijuana. Between the different types of commercial zoning and agricultural zoning in our town, it is fair to say that the growing of marijuana could grow expeditiously in our community, and many residents wouldn't even know it. Now is the time for forward thinking by Chino Valley town officials and residents. Ask yourselves, what do I want the town of Chino Valley to look like in 10 years? What type of individuals, families, and businesses are we trying to attract to Chino Valley? Let's be willing as a community to fight for the best in bringing new jobs and industries to Chino Valley. Do we just sit back and let things happen and take the easy way out and let those coming from the outside dictate what happens here in our community? And thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want you to know Mr. Nanke still had about 300 grains of sand left, so thank you, sir. That was well put. That was well put, and thank you, thank you. Any others for call to the public? Okay, no others for call to the public. Call to the public is now closed. Response to the public. Response to the public is an opportunity for the mayor to inform the public about how town officials addressed matters raised during call to the public at a previous meeting. We have no response to the public, but in 2 weeks we will have a response for Mr. Freeman, Mr. Eddy, and Mr. Nanke, I hope. Current event summaries and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor, any council member, or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events or ask a staff member to provide the same. Presentation on information requested by the mayor and council will be made and questions answered. No action will be taken. Do we have any reports on this side of the dais? No? Any reports? Yes, sir.
We kicked off the Citizens Academy last Thursday. We had approximately 20 members. It turned out real well. It was the historical background of Chino Valley. It was really fun, a good presentation. We'll see all of you that attended next Thursday at 6:30 right here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Did you have anything, Mr. Turner? No. Okay. I have a mayor's report. This will be going out in the Chino Valley Review, hopefully tomorrow. Our impression of life in a small town can vary from charming to frustrating, with many of those feelings influenced by how we perceive we're being treated by our local government. As pointed out in previous mayor's reports, there are some of our citizens who would like the entire town to be one large homeowners association, and there are others who would be happy with no rules at all. Fortunately, most of our residents are somewhere in between. Writing fair and equitable ordinances that ensure the safety and well-being of our citizens while still allowing free enterprise to flourish can be quite a challenge. Even more difficult is ensuring that those same ordinances are applied uniformly across the entire town. For example, several months ago, a longtime resident of Chino Valley was lamenting to me about how in the early days of the town, it was much easier to do business. Apparently, during that period of the town's history, this particular resident could build anything on his place he wanted to, and the town would sign off on it. Unfortunately, this was troubling to me, since not everyone who dealt with the town's government in those early days had those same fond memories. A friend of mine who owned a business out here during that time period eventually closed his business and left because of that same government. Apparently, not everyone in Chino Valley had enjoyed the same privileged status. I believe one of the basic tenets of an effective government is that of fair and equal treatment. Whether you have $5 in your pocket or $5 million, whether you've lived here 6 months or 60 years, you should have the same opportunities and face the same challenges as everyone else in the town. Hopefully, we can continue to strive toward that goal. Our town government is still far from perfect, but I believe we've made quite a bit of progress, and we hope to make a lot more. Thank you for your patience and your continued support. Chris Morley, Mayor of Chino Valley. Item B is status report by Town Manager Robert Smith regarding town accomplishments and current or upcoming projects. Mr. Smith, did you have anything?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to ask the Assistant Town Manager to come up and give a report on our librarian.
Okay. There he is. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is good news I want to share with you. Each year, the Arizona Library Association gives service awards to individuals and groups making a difference in Arizona libraries. The awards are presented at the Arizona Library Association Annual Conference, which is held in November. This year, I'm proud to announce that Chino Valley's Library Director, Scott Bruner, who could not be here tonight, has received the Leadership Award, which is one of the highest awards presented. Thank you to Darlene Westcott and the Friends of the Library for all the hard work they put in nominating Scott. Scott has worked here for over 15 years and has been a tremendous asset to our community and to our organization. I thank the mayor for his letter of endorsement, as well as State Representative Karen Fan. Please take the time to congratulate Scott on his achievement.
All right, thank you. Excellent. Our next item is item 6, consent agenda. All those items listed below are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. We have no consent agenda items. Item 7, action items. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431.0383 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public, and no action may be taken in executive session. Item 7A, council may vote to recess the regular meeting and hold an executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A1 for discussion or consideration of the appointment of Susan Chuka, Dean Eccles, Alex Harris, Dean Keller, Susan Keller, Augustin Lasoga, Jack Miller, Lillian Morales, Catherine Knapp, Joshua Schmidt, Julie Van Woefen, Hans Vang, Mark Vucic, or Mark Whitfeld to fill 2 vacancies on the town council. The chair would entertain a motion, I believe. Before we do that, though, Ms. Lewis, there is one of these that has asked that they not be discussed in executive session. Who is that? Lillian Morales. And I believe at our last council meeting, we had an Alex Harris who asked to not be discussed. Susan, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
If Ms. Harris asked to not be discussed at the last council meeting, I would assume that that should carry forward to this meeting, not being discussed in an executive session. Is that correct?
I think that's correct.
Okay.
Is Ms. Morales here?
Alex Harris and Ms. Morales, well, if they've asked us to not discuss them during executive session, then they won't be spoken of during the executive session. The chair would now entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to recess the regular session to the executive session to discuss and consider appointments of 2 members to the town council.
All right. Do we have a second?
I second it.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And we will now go to executive session, hopefully be back out fairly soon.
We need to go out of executive session, I guess.
Get all my papers here. Okay, we are now back in session. Item 7B, consideration.
We need to go out of executive session.
Pardon me?
I get the floor first, right?
Oh, you get the floor first.
Thank
That's
you.
correct.
We need to
Thank
go out of
We
executive session.
we are out
We're
of
out of
executive
exec-
session.
okay.
Yes, we're back in session here. Yes, sir.
As a member of the Appointments Committee, I'd like to thank everybody who applied and went ahead and came down and listened to Darrell and myself, and the first half that had to put up with Lon, for your time and for coming and supporting our town. Thank you.
I was really pleased and amazed at the number of citizens that volunteered to do this. This is a great town. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you, all you applicants. All right, the chair, we're going to go to item 7B, consideration and possible action to review and discuss the final applicants for the vacant council positions as recommended by the Appointments Subcommittee, and 2, select 2 applicants to fill the vacant positions, and 3, administer the oath of office to said selected applicants. I guess we can begin with a motion from the chair or a recommendation from the Appointments Subcommittee for an applicant.
Mr. Mayor, it is my pleasure to recommend Susan Chuka for appointment to the town council.
Second it?
Hang on for a second. Susan Chuka. Okay, we have a motion and we have a second for the appointment of Susan Chuka to town council. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We would take another recommendation from the Appointments Subcommittee.
Mr. Mayor, it is my pleasure to recommend Jack Miller for the second appointment to the town council.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second for Jack Miller. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Susan Chuka and Jack Miller are our two selected applicants. Our next item of business is to administer the oath of office to said applicants. Ms. Lewis, I believe you're prepared for that? Okay, thank you. Are they here tonight? Okay.
Is Jack here now?
Susan's right there in the third row.
Yeah.
Jack's hiding back here. Jack, would you please come forward so we can make fun of you?
That's the first time I've seen Jack without a hat on.
Just be careful what you ask for.
All right, so raise your right hand and repeat after me. State of Arizona, County of Yavapai. State of Arizona, County of Yavapai. I, and state your name please, Susan Chuka,
Jack Miller.
do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the state of Arizona.
of the state of Arizona.
I can't hold my hand up and the mic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And defend them against.
And defend them against
All enemies, foreign and domestic.
all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will faithfully and impartially.
That I will faithfully and impartially
Discharge the duties of.
discharge the duties of
The office of town council member.
the office of town council member
Of the town of Chino Valley.
of the town of Chino Valley
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God. So help me God.
All right.
Jack, you need a Hawaiian shirt if you're going to get him fit in this one.
Okay, so we have to sign. Yeah, we need you guys to sign. And then I'll sign, and then.
Yeah, we'll take 5 as soon as they've signed. Okay. Okay, we ready? Let's go ahead and have a 5-minute recess, okay? All right, 5-minute recess. We'll be right back. Mr. Miller, it's good to get to meet you. How are you?
We forgot to run them tickets. Do you mind sharing yours?
Yes, yeah, I already figured that. No problem.
Yes. It's your moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I just saw.
No, she asked, but she didn't answer.
The paper? I want Wetfield, I wanted Wetfield. Did you? Okay.
Jamie. Jamie. Jamie.
Yeah, let them choose. Let them choose. There's two outside seats, because like Lon says, those are the most uncomfortable seats in the house. Yeah, yeah. That's okay.
I'll get it,
It was dangerous. Oh, okay. Well, this is good.
So they said it can't fall off, right? Is there a time frame?
Do they know they're sitting?
Oh, yeah, yeah, we're still live. I'm ready to get to rocking. Are you a left-hander or a right-hander?
What are you? You're lefty.
I'm a lefty, yeah.
You got a lefty here, so.
That's right.
Okay.
Both elbows.
That's it.
I can give you a
Did you know you were gonna be looking at any of this tonight?
Nope. Yeah, she did.
So we could do the town's business if the vice mayor were here. Is that correct? Is that? What is missing?
C and D are the next two items that you will be part, yes, I know what they are. already.
Just thought I'd ask.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But I like it.
All right. Yeah, make sure your microphones are on.
Why would I wouldn't do that?
You're on.
All right. Okay, we're back in order. Item 7C, consideration and possible action to waive the bidding requirements pursuant to Section 32.08 of the Town Code and approve the purchase of 2 used police motorcycles, including radar units, from Prescott Valley Police Department in the total amount of $11,500. Funds to come from the Capital Asset Replacement Fund, which has $197,000 available that can be used for this acquisition. Funds received from the sale of the old bikes will be deposited back into this fund. Mr. Wynn, good to have you.
How are
Go
you,
right
Mayor
ahead.
and Council? As you know, I'm a wheeler dealer, and a few weeks ago, I was contacted by Prescott Valley Police Department, and they're going to be eliminating their motors program, and their chief had told them to sell all the equipment they have. There's a little history. We normally have 2 full-time motors here in town. We currently only have 1. 2 years ago, I actually had 4 certified guys, and 2 that were assigned permanently to the bikes, and 2 that could jump on bikes if we needed them to, and we had 1/3 spare bike. Through attrition and guys retiring, we're down to 1 motor right now, but we're in the process of filling that second full-time motor position. I also have a couple other guys that are interested that we would like to get trained to ride the bikes. We currently have 4 bikes. One's trashed. It does not run at all. Kawasaki that we got is a trainer bike. When they go through the class, they actually have to crash the bikes and lay them down, so we don't want to do that with our good bikes. I have another Kawasaki that sort of runs, and then we have a Honda that apparently we either got a limit. Let me back up. I'm not a bike guy, so if you have any bike questions, I'll bring my guru up. But yeah, Mr. Gritman or Mr. Turner. But I don't know much about bikes, but I know the one Honda we have, it just spent about almost 5 or 6 weeks in the shop. They said it was fixed. It got halfway here. It died. They had to take it back. And I don't know if it's a lemon or what, but it's been a constant thorn in our side. What I'm asking to do tonight is purchase 2 bikes from Prescott Valley for the amount that's on the agenda. And they come with radar units, which if I had to purchase the radar units separately are close to $4,000 just for the radar units. And the one bike already has the rifle mount on it. And what our plan would be to use those 2 bikes plus our current Harley Davidson as our 3 primary bikes. Our Honda, that's kind of the lemon, would become our crash bike, and we'll sell the 2 Kawasaki's for whatever we can get for those bikes.
Okay.
And it should give us bikes with a lot less miles that are more reliable.
Excellent. So in essence, we're getting theoretically 2 bikes for about $7,000, considering the cost of the
extra
radar
equipment that we're getting
units.
with them,
You
yes,
bet.
sir.
All right, questions on this side of council?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If Prescott Valley is getting out of the motorcycle usage, why are we in it, and why are they out of it?
We've been in.
What benefits does Chino have with motorcycles?
We've been in the motorcycle business for almost 10 years. The primary use of the bikes is traffic. They can go places that, that we can't get the cars. They turn around faster than the cars. They can go into neighborhoods that are less visible than a car if we're getting complaints out of a certain neighborhood. So their primary use is traffic. My favorite thing about the bikes is the public relations. And Officer Brusso can tell you on a bike, it's only second to my canines. I mean, the canines create tons of public interaction because everybody wants to come see the dog, pet the dog, talk to the dog. And the bike's the same way. Every time he stops that bike at Circle K or anywhere, he's got people coming up, talking to him and discussing, the bike. Just makes the officers really approachable, which is what I like about them. As to why Prescott Valley's getting out, I haven't spoken directly to their chief about it, but I talked to one of their lieutenants. They have a fairly new chief, and they've been doing some reorganization within their department, and he's apparently decided that the liability, he just isn't interested in the bike program. Prescott has a really strong bike program, and they're real strong down in the valley. But we find them really useful here because with the exception of Highway 89, all of our roads are 2-lane roads. And trying to get a car flipped around on those roads is a 3 or 4 point turn depending on the bar ditches. So the bikes can flip on the pavement and turn around on cars a lot faster and safer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this side? No? Any questions on this side?
I don't have any questions. I just want to let you know that I'm really happy to hear that the Harley Davidson is the only one that's managed to stay mechanical.
Well, I can say this, even when it breaks, they can fix it, which I appreciate. When it goes to Harley Davidson, they get it back to us in a timely manner. For whatever reason, that Honda goes to the shop and it just vanishes into Never Land for months. So,
all right. Excellent. All right. If there's no other questions on this side, no follow-up questions on this side, The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to waive the bidding requirements pursuant to Town Code Section 32.08 and approve the purchase of a 2006 Harley-Davidson Electric Glide FLHTPI with ABS, Genesis 2 radar system, and a 2009 Honda ST1300 with ABS police touring motorcycle rifle lock and custom Golden Eagle 2 radar system from Prescott Valley Police Department for a total of $11,500.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 7 Delta, consideration and possible action to amend the town code and town council rules of procedure to authorize the mayor to designate another member of council to preside over a meeting at which the mayor is present and able to preside. And I've been asked by several folks, why would we consider changing the town code? What I would like to have possible is I'd like to have the opportunity for various members of the council to be able to serve in the capacity of running the meetings themselves. On occasion, I will have to step away from the dais and the vice mayor will run the meeting. Mayor Harvey Skoog over in Prescott Valley says that any of his council people should be able to be the vice mayor, and any of his council people should be able to serve as mayor. This is actually the second thing that I'm attempting to do insofar as the mayoral office. The first was limiting the executive powers of the mayoral office, which we did a couple of weeks ago. At that point in time, the mayor could declare a state of emergency, and there was no recourse for the town. The mayor could declare a state of emergency, and then it just stayed in a state of emergency, which if I was mayor, that would be a state of emergency. So I wanted a limit, a time limit placed on that, and I'm thankful that the council backed me on that. This second part of it, it's not that any of you would be forced to serve in that capacity. I'd simply say, possibly before the meeting, Councilmember Best, would you be willing to chair the meeting today? And if he says yes, then as soon as we're done with the opening part of the meeting, the call to order, invocation, pledge of allegiance, and roll call, somewhere in there, we would hopefully be able to pass the gavel, and then it would give each of you the opportunity to run the meeting, okay? And we'll have to work the mechanics of that out with Ms. Goodman as far as the sequence of events. Ms. Goodman may require that we do it after current event summaries and reports or whatever, but we'd work that through. Ms. Goodman, did you have any input on where we could turn the gavel over?
The ordinance does not indicate when. I think that would be at your discretion.
Okay.
It just says at any meeting where the mayor is present. It doesn't say when, and I think that's appropriate. You may decide in the middle of a meeting to do it. You may decide at the beginning of the meeting.
You bet. Especially if there's something where I would be in a conflict of interest, or there's something that I need to step away from the microphone on it, it would be excellent to be able to pass the meeting to another council member, somebody who's a little bit more objective. So, are there any questions, any discussions? Okay. It's very seldom that we have in government where the government wants to get rid of power. But I feel it's only appropriate, knowing the nature of the human race. So, all right, if there's no discussion, the chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 15802, amending the Town Code Title III Administration, Chapter 30, Governing Body, Subchapter Mayor, Section 3.023, Powers and Duties related authorizing the mayor to designate another council member to preside over a meeting at which the mayor is present and able to preside.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Executive session, council may vote to raise.
Mayor Marley, I think you only adopted the ordinance. There's also an amendment to the council's rules of procedure. Was that included? I didn't hear that in the motion.
Oh, okay. An amendment to the council.
It's next one.
Okay. Can we do that as the second motion then?
Yes.
Yes.
That's item 2? Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Mayor Morley, I make a motion to approve amendment to Section 5 of the Chino Valley Town Council Rules of Procedure, Section 30.067 of the Chino Valley Town Code to add subsection C, authorizing the mayor to designate a council member to preside over a meeting at which the mayor is present and able to preside.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 8, executive session. We don't have an executive session scheduled or action items resumed. Would one of our new council members like to make the motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.